New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
This is What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life, one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Give a set of applause emojis in the chat for your co-hosts, Rev KC and B. Lovely.
Clap for us. Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of What's Up and Why. I am B. Lovely.
And I am Reverend KC Taylor. I use they, them pronouns. I realize, B. Lovely, you don't use your pronouns. So tell us, what pronouns do you use?
I use she, her.
All right. I appreciate it.
She, that girl.
She, that girl. I'm with
she,
it.
that girl that's at the spa today, as you guys can see. Like, it does look like, no, it does not look like jail wardrobe, but you know, I'm not my dressed up usual self because I was feeling very, very drained. I was feeling like I was about to be burnt out, and it's been very, very taxing, both at work and my personal life. And I said to myself, you know what? After work today, I'm going to take myself to the spa. So that's what I did. And, you know, I spent some time like in a little hot jacuzzi. I did a couple of like the mud room, the salt room and stuff, doing some meditation, fell asleep in one of the rooms and stuff. And I'm just going to spend the whole day here just focusing on pouring back into myself because my cup was starting to get empty, and Be Lovely cannot be her, you know, beautiful, happy, joyous self, spreading love and positivity to everybody with an empty cup.
I'm with it. Good for you for recognizing it, for not taking, you know, that experience of operating when your energy has depleted isn't good for anybody. So just gifting yourself the drive and relaxation. I've never been in a mudroom before. I've literally, like, as you're saying this, I'm thinking I need to get on this. I on Friday, Friday was the day before our United Life Center for Spiritual Living had our 70th anniversary and my installation ceremony. And Fridays are, thank you so much.
Congrats.
My Fridays are my personal Sabbath. And so because it's already a day that I have designated in my week to do zero work, to pour fully into myself. But as I was getting ready for this big celebration, I saw the value of letting this day be my pamper day. I got my nails did. I went somewhere nice in downtown that I'd never
see the nails. Let's see the nails. Sorry to cut you off.
Sparkly.
Yes, we love sparkle.
And got my toes did too. And I got a facial, and this place that I go to get facials is super cheap for what I get. You know, like usually I went to like a Massage Envy. Massage Envy charges $125 flat for a facial. This place charges $85 and I get the entire place to myself. And it's just like, you know, it's just very specific to me. They make recommendations, like keep track of what I got going on with my skin. And just having the whole spot to myself. It's Black owned, and the woman who owns it always like comes out and gives me a big old hug. They had oat creamer when I went. So like when I go and get coffee, I've been a vegan for a year now. And I think of like when I'm getting coffee in public, just like at a regular spa place, you know, they're not going to have any creamer for me, but lo and behold, it's my girl. And she got the dairy-free creamer for me. So it's just like, I get this like very luxurious experience, but saying all this to say, I ain't never been to a mudroom. So that on my list.
It's not what you think. It's not like mud is everywhere. It's like this one was a yellow mud room, and like the mud is like in the walls, and it's supposed to have like healing properties and help extract the toxins out of your body and everything, and encourage relaxation, which it absolutely did. But yeah, I would definitely suggest that. And thank you for reminding me that I need to go ahead and schedule my massage, because I bought a massage on Groupon like 2 weeks ago and I've been meaning to schedule it, but life has been life in. I've been taking care of every single thing except for me. So that's going to be my next thing, scheduling my massage. And I'm well overdue for a facial. Have you ever gone to a chiropractor? Actually, now that I'm thinking about all these, different wellness treatments.
Not ever. Yoga and me are besties, and that's what I'm gonna do. I haven't heard anything good from chiropractors, from people who have like actual problems. Like if I had actual problems, it'd be a different kind of situation. I'm grateful that my back and my body are very good to me, so much so that I am able to move freely and comfortable, and I don't live a life of pain. So like, I'm not speaking to people who have pain, but people who I know who haven't had pain and gone to a chiropractor, what they say is that it's one of those things you have to keep going. Like once you get that adjustment, you got to keep getting that adjustment. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it unless I have to.
I've heard that and I've been curious about it. But then when I see the videos, I also think, wow, I think I would be scared and I would probably jump last minute. And then next thing you know, well, I'm not even going to speak that over myself, but that's why I have not gone to do any chiropractic. I stick to you're actually the one that got me into yoga because I do hot yoga now, which is one of the most amazing activities. I feel like if I can survive being in a room that is heated well over 100 degrees with steam, stretching my body into these impossible positions, then I can conquer anything that the day throws at me. It's a very empowering activity.
Yes. What about acupuncture? You ever tried that?
I've been curious about acupuncture. I would try it, even though I'm not going to lie, that Final Destination movie, when somebody, with the acupuncture had their demise, that kind of scared me. But I wouldn't be opposed to trying it, especially since I've heard like a lot of good things about Eastern medicine and, holistic practices and stuff.
I've been taking an herbalism class, which is it's interesting. And it definitely is Western. It's inspired by Eastern medicine and rituals. But what I really love about this class is it's really kind of rooted in like it's in Oklahoma. Like I literally go to a farm and learn about herbs and like how to make teas and stuff like that. And it's really about like indigenous traditions and using plants that are local to Oklahoma. And it's just been really interesting to think about what I learned through this herbalism class is how we used to as a people really use herbs and natural foods as a way to heal and things like acupuncture and yoga, like really physical things with our physical body. And this class taught me that around the 70s, they really started cracking down on these natural practices and really leaning towards pharmaceutical drugs because they're more profitable for somebody to say you can resolve this by like growing some food in your yard and eating it versus buying this drug. It wasn't profitable. That's what they taught me.
So, what is the most interesting thing that you've learned from this herbal class?
Well, the reason I chose to take it as a minister, the spiritual energy of it all, that there's this recognition that there's a ritual in yesterday we talked about how the experience of drinking a tea versus taking a tincture, there's nothing ritual like putting a dropper in your mouth versus like having something warm and hot and like cozying up to it and enjoying it and smelling it as you take in your first sip. So today, I actually went to a breakfast with a bunch of ministers and they had this like good cup of herbal tea that I ordered and had just a very different experience at this breakfast by having chosen this herbal tea because like these herbs are on my mind. So I think I'm interacting with the world that I live in very differently by like being very intentional about what I'm putting in my body and chopping up herbs and vegetables for, soups and salads and things that I make and just feeling really good about how I walk through the world and what I'm eating.
Nice. I like that. I want to add on to that. I've been listening to, speaking about, what we're putting into our bodies and how we're walking into the world. I've been walking in the world a lot better now ever since I came across Little John's meditation and affirmations albums. And you all know who Little John is, the turn up
Of
for what
course.
guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. But last year he released a meditation and an affirmations album, and I was on a walk last week, and it popped up into my mind. So I said, let me give it a listen. And so I did his mindful breathing meditation, which definitely surprised me because I went in there kind of like I didn't really have expectations. I'm like, okay, this is a guy who's known for turning up, for partying, crunk and all that stuff. So I didn't know really what to expect listening to the album, but I was really, really blown away by his affirmations album because he has different tracks. Each track is a different type of affirmation. My favorite is affirmations for positivity, and the way how like he's very, very relaxed in his tone. There's a beautiful sound bath that's in the back. I listen to now every day before I go into work. I listen to affirmations for positivity, for happiness, for abundance, and for attracting good things. And I definitely recommend it. So if anybody, if you're on a music platform, if you are able to give Little John's affirmations or his mindful meditation album a listen, it will definitely blow you away in the best possible way.
I was super surprised by it. And also Andre 3000's flute album, New Blue
I listen to that
Sand.
to go to sleep.
Yes.
That puts me to sleep. Did you hear his new piano album that he released the night of the Met Gala?
I have not. And I haven't heard this affirmations album either. I heard Lil Jon's first meditation album, but I haven't heard the affirmations one. So I am definitely behind and grateful for, as we're highlighting these Black artists. It's reminding me of who I want to give reverence to. So I would love to shift our conversation into introducing the segment where in giving reverence, I give reverence to someone in our modern day world, or someone in history that isn't as highlighted, isn't a historical figure that we talk about very much. And in honor of Pride Month, I would love to honor William Dorsey Swann, who is the original drag queen. William Dorsey Swann was one of the original female impersonators, born enslaved and lived through the experience of emancipation, where there were celebrations on the East Coast in Baltimore called Emancipation Day celebrations, and William Dorsey Swann was known as Queen of the Grand Drag. So the whole term drag queen came out of William Dorsey being their full authentic self, showing up at these Emancipation Day celebrations. And when I think of all of the drag shows that I've been to, never heard of William Dorsey Swann before. We don't really live in a world, despite the fact that Pride is being celebrated everywhere, we don't see a lot of celebrations of the individuals. I've seen a lot about the women who set off the Stonewall riots. Marsha P. I don't know. It's gonna come up. I'm gonna come up with it. Marsha. I'm just gonna Google it. Marsha P. Johnson, who was the person who started the Stonewall riots, who said to the police, "We're not going to take this anymore." But William Dorsey Swann, I never heard of. So William Dorsey Swann is who I am giving reverence to in this episode.
Yes, amazing story. And if you guys have time, I definitely highly suggest that you look up and learn more about William Dorsey Swann. And I love this part of the show where you give reverence to, give flowers to and shine a light on the people that a lot of us really haven't heard of, because, this isn't something that was taught in schools. It's not something that's like very mainstream and everything. But shout out to William Dorsey Swann, who was unapologetically themselves, who lived their life out loud, authentically themselves. And going from that, I want us to go into our next segment, Do Better Blues. This is a segment where I spotlight something that I've seen that was very concerning or bothering to me in the news, and have us to have a moment of introspection to look at ourselves. So recently, on the same topic as Pride, one of the voice actors from King of the Hill, which is actually being brought back, was recently killed in a homophobic attack. Jonathan Joss, if you're not familiar, He played the role of John Redcorn, who was an Indigenous person on King of the Hill. Jonathan Joss was also an Indigenous person in real life. Um, he and his husband, their home was recently burnt down in San Antonio. I believe that their house was burnt down. I don't know if it was, I'm not even going to give any speculation for why because I can't confirm it. Their home was recently burnt down. They went back to the home to collect mail from the home. And when they had arrived to the property, the first thing that they saw right in front of the mailbox, somebody had put the remains of their dog, which was still in its harness, by the mailbox. And both of them started being very emotional because the husband of Jonathan Joss, he made a statement online saying what had happened in the aftermath of this attack. So they were grieving, not just the loss of their dog, the loss of their home. And one of their neighbors, the husband says they have been victims of homophobic attacks recently from their neighbors. And one of the neighbors had saw them while they were in this state of mourning and started yelling homophobic slurs at them. And then it got to the point where this neighbor pulled out a gun and Jonathan Joss pushed his husband out the way. And John Joss was shot and ultimately died from his injuries. So our producer, Clarissa, if you could please put up a picture of Jonathan Joss, that if you have it, thank you. That's Jonathan Joss, and that's the character that he played, John Redcorn. I want to just have a moment of silence and give a rest in peace to Jonathan Joss really quickly before I get into my read. So this story, it really, really bothered me because violence in this life is not something new. Through history, we have always heard and seen, people being killed, people being hurt, but it's just, when is it going to come to a point where we are accepting of everyone despite our differences? Yes, I understand that we are different and that people live different lifestyles than us, but I am a firm believer that at the core of every single human, we are all the same. We all fundamentally want to be loved, cared for, and to have a positive experience while we are here on earth. And it's just something that I can't really fathom or understand, why there would be so much hatred in a person's heart to want to cause harm to somebody else just because they are different. I feel like our differences is what makes us all uniquely special and what helps us to bring, different, unique, creative stuff to the human experience on this life. And I just want us all to, look inside and check any inherited biases, prejudices, any bigotry that is inside of us, and check that and wonder, why does that bother me so much? Is this going to affect the way that I'm able to live my life? Is this going to affect my health? Is this going to affect the way how I make money? How is somebody else living their life affecting you to the point where you hate them so much that you want to cause them harm? And another thing I want to leave us with is, see something, say something. An injustice to one of us is an injustice to all of us. If you see someone who is being a bigot, who is being hateful to someone else in your vicinity, call them out on it. Just like the bully on the playground, bullies thrive when nobody calls them out on their stuff or stands up to them. We need to start standing up to these bullies. People should be allowed to live their lives as long as they're not hurting anybody. People should be allowed to live their lives the way how they want to. We should be able to be authentically ourselves. We should not have to feel like we need to shrink ourselves or hide ourselves or be ashamed because of who we are. Because who we are, we're all different. Everybody is different. Nobody is the same. And it's our differences that makes us amazing. So see something, say something, check your bias and your bigotry at the door. Rev KC Taylor, is there anything you want to add to it?
Like what you're talking about with self-awareness is really reminding me of what I was going to introduce in our next segment, which is making peace with your inner shit talker. That I truly believe that the reasons that we choose fear over faith, that we choose not to say something when we see something, is our inner shit talker is leading us in the direction of safety. And in reality, our inner wisdom always knows the way. So the purpose of this 90-day program that is intended to be intuitively led means that I'm moving through the program at my own pace. And I've been on day 22 for the longest. And there's this song. It was written by Karen Drucker. The original song is called Morning Prayer by Karen Drucker. And it opens with the line, I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that comes my way. With every step I take is and starting my day with that recognition, one, helps me grapple with, deal with the world that I live in right now, and to also empower me to hear my inner wisdom, my inner voice more clearly. So when I say something that scares me, see something that scares me, or my intuition is guiding me to make a decision that scares me, like leaving my life of Los Angeles behind and moving to Oklahoma City, that this practice has really supported me, and these recognizing that spiritual practice could look any kind of way. It can look like meditation, it can look like prayer, but it also can look like listening to a song and letting the lyrics of the songs wash over you. The other thing that I was thinking about is, as you were sharing the kind of the state of the world that we're in right now, is so much of that hatred and division, I've really learned, came out of the way that our school systems socialized us to show up. That the reason that that Black people have seen themselves as second class citizens and been treated as second class citizens is our school systems are designed to do that. And my mom and I are leading a book study starting July 3rd on the book Original Sins, the miseducation of Black and Native children and the construction of American racism. And so we'll be leading a 7-week space to help people identify these things. Because, like the reasons we're experiencing hatred and violence is, I believe, that there aren't spaces for this healing to occur, for people to identify where the beliefs even came from, and to be held in safety as we unpack and move through this experience of unlearning together.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely gonna want to join in on that book study, because that book sounds really, really good.
I hope you do.
Do you and what did you already do making peace with your inner shit talk, or did you want to
That was it. I will surrender. That is I will surrender by Faith Rivera is her version. And Karen Drucker, Morning Prayer, same song, same lyrics, just different singers. And Faith Rivera uses that title, I Will Surrender. Karen Drucker called it Morning Prayer when she wrote it originally.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to give one more rest in peace to Jonathan Joss. That story, when I read that, I was really brokenhearted about it, because I just feel like we should be at a point now where this isn't something that is still a part of our society. But then also, when I think about the history of humanity, violence and hatred has always been something that's woven into the fabric of society. But I'm very hopeful that someday, I don't know when, but like, what was that song on Mariah's first album? There's got to be a way one day we'll be able to live in unison, in peace, whenever that day comes. But I know tomorrow she's going to be taking us a ride on the dangerous side with her new album, her new single that's coming out. Was it Type Dangerous? I'm looking forward to that as we go into the weekend. That's why Mimi is right behind Rev KC and B. Represent. I'm excited for this though, because this is my first time being a full-fledged lamb, being a part of, a rollout for her projects, because I was a casual fan, like during the Emancipation era. Like my mom, she played that album out, and I stole the album from her and would listen to it myself. But I never considered myself, I didn't even know what a lamb was, but I didn't become a lamb until after I read her memoir in 2020. Thanks to you. You're the person that, got me to jump on the Mariah train. And baby, I am not coming off. I am ready for this new era. I am loving, the sexiness, the opulence that she's putting out. And I'm ready for my girl to get all her flowers, because people play with Mariah and make it seem like, she only comes around during the holidays and then she freezes and we thaw her out. No, honey, the lambs have her thawed out year round.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'm grateful that you have jumped on the Lamely train. And as we started this episode, a bit later, we should probably close
Wrap
out.
it
Would
up.
you like to pray out, or would you like me to pray out? You let me
I
know.
can pray out since you prayed us in. So wherever you are, take a deep breath and take notice of your breath and how your chest moves as your breath comes in and out. And I want us, as we step away from this episode today, to move with love at the forefront of all of our interactions. I want you to be thoughtful of the people who are surrounding you and how your actions can impact their experience here on this earth. Move with love, move with honesty, move with positivity, and move with the intention to want to leave each room that you enter better than how you found it. And let there be peace and harmony among all of us. And it all starts with the individual choosing peace and harmony within themselves, because you are how you feel about yourself, and how you treat yourself is what you exude to the world. So let's exude positivity, let's exude love, and let's exude care for our fellow human beings. And as we exhale, I want us all to, end this prayer in whatever way that makes you feel most comfortable. I'm going to end it by saying amen.
And so it is. See y'all next time. Have the best day ever.